General review of granting of sole source contracts for goods and services, and along with that, and then follow up with it, if you're going to specify contracts at what threshold, and then also is there a sole source contract in the equation?
My company's in government contracting. I deal with government contracts every single day, and I can tell you that if every contract has to be bid out, it will slow operations down. I would be supportive of taking a look at a threshold level for requiring RFPs. I don't know right now the statistics on how many contracts in city of Jacksonville are 100,000 and above. To me, I would look at 50 or 100. Or based on the purpose. If it's a construction project, maybe everything should be bid out, because I know the contractors want to make sure that they're competitive and want to make sure that contractors that are compliant with their permits and all the legal requirements are competing on a level playing field. So maybe we differentiate the types of projects that we're talking about. But I want to be careful not to tie the hands of the city government and the ability to get work done when you need to get work done, because while I may say that I think the bureaucracy is too large downtown, we do have some specialists in procurement that know what to do. They know what the general pricing of supplies and costs of goods and services would be, and to make that even more cumbersome by adding a requirement that all contracts be bid out, I don't necessarily think is in the best interest of operating the city.
Okay, comment. Transparency.
What will you do to encourage transparency and public access to government and public participation in the legislative process?
Well, you'll probably note that in my questionnaire response, I said I would not support putting ethics in the city charter, and that's because I think it's just another layer of bureaucracy in government. I think that there are laws that apply to the way that people need to carry themselves and operate, and if additional legislation is required, you can add additional legislation without requiring an ethics officer in the city charter and adding compensation and the bureaucracy that comes along with that. I think that we have processes in place and a structure in place to address that. I've got a copy of it if you'd like to see it as well. But one thing I would do is actually walk the walk. I think the most important thing is people get concerned that people, when they're running in campaigns, they're all about ethics, but when they get elected, they don't disclose conflicts. They don't remain accessible to constituents. They're only accessible to lobbyists. One of the things in my campaign that has been important to me is I don't have any of the lobbyists that are behind the scenes working with city projects on my campaign. They have not contributed financially to my campaign, and I'm not asking them for financial contributions, because I think that is a leadership by example. It's trying to bring some sort of new approach to getting things done downtown, and that's being more accessible to your constituents. I have committed in meetings with a number of community groups to hold regular town hall meetings all over town, not just downtown, going to the residents of the city. As an at-large council member, I would be responsible for the entire county. I think it's important to be able to get out there and talk with people instead of just inviting them downtown. But I'm an open door guy. I'm pretty accessible. Anybody that's worked with me in a community activity can tell you I speak straight. We may disagree sometimes, but you're going to know where I stand. I don't go back on my word, and I put thought in my decisions. But I think leadership by example is critical when it comes to transparency.
Are you telling us you've never had dinner with Paul Hart?
No, not once.
Right.
And I know you're videotaping me, so I can say that.
It's worse than being under a counselor. Tell us what distinguishes you from your opponents in this race. There are several, and specifically, what is going to make you the right choice for the voters? I think you've sort of gotten into that at the beginning, but just elaborate on that.
Of course. I think one of the points I just mentioned distinguishes me from my opposition, and that's that I don't have established lobbyists and the powers that be that have put our city in the position we're in today working on my campaign. And I think it's important to just point that out, distinguishing. The other thing is I've been a committed conservative my entire adult life. I've participated in grassroots on campaigns. I have contributed only to conservative candidates and causes, and I think there's a consistency that should be looked at in terms of my track record, which I'm happy to stand behind. I also think that I bring a fresh perspective and energy, notwithstanding the differences in our occupations. I think that that sometimes it's good to bring somebody who hasn't been on the inside of city projects, like one of my opponents has been on a number of city projects, and or having the influence of others who maybe don't have the best interests of the regular taxpayer in Duval County best interest. I'm just a regular guy who's been working a job, who's been involved in the community and wants to get out there. And I think that distinguishes me from them. And I think that I've put out ideas that differentiate myself from my opponents in terms of my beliefs about government.
Okay, wrap it up and take it around.
Self-serving, assuming that the CTD, us self-serving, assuming that our concerned taxpayers in Duval County were to officially endorse you, Juan Diaz, what actions, if any, would you take to inform the electorate of this fact?
We've got a press release ready to, because look, I think that your group is representative of a lot of the people in Duval County. We're frustrated with the way that the city government's been managed, and just to go back for a second, I have not received the endorsements of the groups that have come out with endorsements so far. I think it's that characteristic of the way that city government operates. The relationships behind the scenes run everything, and that differentiates me, and I think that's why I would be proud to stand behind the endorsement of a community group that reflects the face of where Jacksonville is today.
Okay, final